the I'm a Fan of podcast, music, comedy, and more.
Stefan G, welcome.
Hi.
You're really busy. I appreciate you making the time. Yeah, I mean, because I've only watched the Queer Factor show at DCC.
Yeah.
But I see all the other shows, not only that you're producing, but just outperforming as well, doing not only stand-up, but improv. And then what exactly are you doing with is it the Dallas Independent Comedy Fest?
Yeah, the Dallas Indie Comedy Fest. Yeah, I'm a producer for that as well.
Good gosh. Where's that going to be? Because first, let's get that out there now. That's April 9th is when it starts?
Yep, April 9th through 12th. It's at Arts Mission Oak Cliff. So it's in the Oak Cliff neighborhood.
South Dallas.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. We're really excited about that.
We just watched a Don't Tell comedy show over there, and it was great because, I'm over here in East Dallas. We love South Dallas, but we're, it's like once you live in Dallas for a while, even just going across Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, I don't know. I got to hit a highway.
Yeah. Yeah, I just did a show in Denton like a week and a half ago, and I lived in Denton for 10 years. And so like driving an hour was nothing.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I have to go to Denton.
Same.
I go maybe once a year. It's just
it feels like Oklahoma now.
It feels so far. Once you're in Dallas, it's like you're in a bubble.
I'm such a snob too. I grew up in a small Northeast Texas town where everything was a 45-minute drive. Everything was an hour drive.
Yeah.
And now that I've been in Dallas as long as I have, I'm like, if you make me go north of 635, I'm angry. You know?
Yeah. I grew up in South Arkansas, and it was like 2-3 hours to a mall, and that was like a monthly trip for us, like on the weekend.
Wow. So small town Arkansas.
Yeah.
What was your small town like? Because mine was, people when you say small town, they're like, oh, country, like horses, cows. But we were next to Lake Levon, but I would say it was more like we were like lake trash. Like there were no horses or cows. It was like small homes, trailers, that kind of stuff. What was your small town like?
I mean, where I lived was pretty suburban, just like kind of close to the civilization, like city center. But my mom definitely grew up like in the woods.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
She tells stories of like them like cooking squirrels and stuff, and eating just like ketchup on bread.
Your mom sounds really interesting. She sounds awesome. Cooking squirrel. From Arkansas originally, her?
It's like Arkansas, Louisiana border.
Oh yeah.
So
there's lots of wild people over that way.
Yeah.
Wow. So what was living with a mom like that, where you're growing up in a very different environment, right? I mean different than what she probably grew up in.
Oh yeah.
Was there anything that y'all were doing that you found out later was not the norm?
No, I think she was ready. She knew how she grew up was not like normal, and did not want that for her kids. So I think we had a very normal childhood.
There you go. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Arkansas is such a weird place because it's stereotyped as so many things, but when you go through there, it's a beautiful state. Like it's gorgeous up there.
Yeah, it's very pretty, especially in the northern half. But as I mentioned, I was from the south.
Maybe I haven't driven through the south. Is it not it's not as beautiful?
No.
Oh. Sorry.
It was like when I moved to Texas, I was like, this is infrastructure, like this is civilization.
Oh, like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're a little more like Louisiana than when you get towards the south, because that's how we drove to Gulf Shores, Alabama last year, and it was crazy how just through Louisiana everything was terrible, and it's like as soon as you got into Mississippi and Alabama, it was better. I was like, what are they doing here? So I guess Southern Arkansas is a little bit like that. Have you made it up to the clubs in Arkansas yet?
No, not yet. I would like to at some point. I do have some like extended family in Little Rock and North Arkansas. So
yeah, are you getting out of Texas at all because you're doing so much work
here?
Yeah,
I've been doing comedy festivals mostly with my improv troupe, but I am doing a festival in a week and a half. I'm doing Festival of Fools in Tulsa.
Nice.
And I'm not doing stand-up, but I'm doing a character.
A character?
Yeah.
Are you going to reveal it yet, or is it a surprise?
Oh, it's one that I've done a lot.
Okay.
I call him Spider Person. I don't know if you've seen pictures of this guy like on my Instagram, but
what does he look like? Show me. Yeah, because I've seen some. I have questions about some of the pictures.
Yeah, I'm very excited when I get to show people this.
I feel like you are one of the people that walk the line between improv and comedy where I can enjoy both. Because some people are so in on improv in that improv world. And
yeah.
It's just too deep for me.
Like for me, I just like, I want to do everything. Okay. So this is this guy.
Oh, yes. I did see that.
You've seen this?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So this is Spider Person?
This is Spider Person. Yeah.
Gosh, man, it's a full thing.
And the kind of the bit is when I come out, I act like everyone clearly knows my name, but like just in case someone doesn't know my name, and I'll pick someone and I'll tell them, I was like, why don't you tell everyone what my name is? Mm-hmm. And whatever name they say is like, that's what my name has always been. And the first time I did it, someone said Spider Person. And then so I just call him Spider Person.
Nice. So no matter what the name is now moving forward, you're going to go with that for the rest of the show? Is that what you're saying?
Whatever someone says. Yeah.
Oh, okay. How many times have you done this character a lot?
I've done it like 4 times. Yeah.
What are the names that you've been given so far?
Okay, so I asked one girl, like when I come out, I look so crazy that people don't know what's going on. And so I asked this one girl and I was like, why don't you tell everyone what my name is? And she just goes, honey, what? And I was like, honey, what? That's my name. Like,
it's also like, thankfully you're soft spoken and nice, because that's a very aggressive way. Like, tell me what my name is.
No. I mean, I changed my voice. Do
you come out aggressive with it?
I've had a tough time finding the voice for him. But yeah, I try like either like a guttural, like I know everybody here knows my name, but and I've tried like a higher. I think that one I tried a higher pitched voice just to be like, I don't know, more whimsical.
Yeah. More whimsical Spider Person.
But that like loud guttural voice is kind of hard for me to keep up for a while.
Yeah, I could see you getting off stage being like, why did I choose that one?
Oh, yeah, because I've been doing a similar like old man character where that is like more the voice. And I've done it for like, I think the last time I did it, it was only, I thought I went like 15 minutes. And then I saw the video and it was only 8. And I was like, I was so tired after. And I like, my goal for those characters is to like develop like a 50 minute one-man show.
Oh,
and it's
okay,
like,
I thought you meant 45 minutes of that character. I was like,
I mean, yeah, like
of one character.
If I can.
I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying, boy, that's a lot of work.
Yeah. There's not a lot of one person shows going on.
No, I've seen a few people who attempted them, and I don't want to say their names because they ended up not doing them.
Oh,
and I think people underestimate that. You know, you're drifting more into the theater world. So depending on how much you want that production up, it's like there's some real like, you've got to get your blocking and everything down. There's people you have to rely on. You really. Even though it's a one-man show, like you're going to have a full support crew with you.
Yeah.
So to get one going, it's really difficult. But usually the people who can get one going, they understand it takes a lot of work, which means it's probably going to be pretty solid once they get it to that point. Yeah. Where would you do your one-man show at? Small, medium, large?
Oh yeah, I definitely small, intimate space, especially like for the kind of show I do is very interactive and like personal. And yeah, I've done it at like backyard shows too, which are great.
Yeah.
So fun.
Is that a great sarcastic grade or
No, I love it. No, it's great. It's great because like everyone is there for that thing, like specifically, and it's just like the vibe of everyone's hanging out and drinking. You're in a backyard. It's like, I don't know, everyone's just there for like whatever happens. I think it's a great.
You're not as stuffy. Yeah.
You're not. You're not worried about like, am I spending too much on drinks right now? Where is there like. Is my car okay in the parking lot? Like, dude, or whatever.
I just had my truck stolen from my house.
Oh my god!
So it was about it was in late January, early February. So it's all past me now. But now that's on my mind. I never thought about car being stolen before, and now it's there. But sorry, we skipped over the Dallas Independent Comedy Fest.
Oh yes, sorry.
So you're producing that. It's in South Dallas.
Yes,
it's going to be awesome.
This is our second year, and we did the math. We actually have twice as many performers as last year. We have over 100.
Oh my god!
So yeah,
how many of y'all are running this?
There are 6 of us on the production team, and yeah.
That's still a lot of work. 6 people and over 100 performers.
Yeah, we've got some volunteers helping out too with other stuff. So
yeah, and it's all at the one venue.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, last year was our first year, and we did one night at Zound Sounds B-Side, and then the second night we did at Deep Ellum Art Company.
How many nights is this?
This is 3 nights, so we added a night of shows, and
how are you going to fit 100 performers in 3 nights?
So we have. It's part of like the performers are part of like 25 different acts.
Okay.
And so each show block has about like 4 or 5 acts in it. So
still, you say that like, oh, it's hardly any. Like that's a lot. That's a lot of moving pieces, even with several acts going through. Mm-hmm. Wow. So are you pretty split with stand-up, improv, sketch?
There's no stand-up at our festival. It's all improv, sketch, and like clowning, variety, like alternative stuff.
Clowning? Mm-hmm. Man, that was one of those fields I didn't know was still as prominent as it is, right? And that there's people who are not only take it seriously, but they're trying to advance it.
Yeah, I mean, there's just like a huge, like not resurgence because it never really goes away, but it's being very popularized by the LA scene. And the movement that's emerging is called like modern clown, or like you might hear it as like plainclothes clown, or theatrical clown. And so, that's something I've been getting really into. That's kind of what inspired me to do the spider person character originally. Yeah, it's very based in clowning.
Did you take a class?
I've taken a few intensives. So my first introduction to it was I did an improv intensive 3 years ago in Denver as part of a comedy festival. And one of the teachers there was Jet Eveleth, who is like a huge deal in the clown community. And I love getting to say when people are huge deals in the clown community. And she's just an amazing teacher. She used to teach at I think Second City in Chicago, and she's now in LA, but she was a great teacher and was part of that improv intensive and was kind of my introduction. And then a couple summers ago, I went to LA and I took 2 more intensives that were just really great.
What are like the tenets of clowning that you're learning? What are kind of the basics when you're getting in there?
Yeah, so the clown is kind of like your unsocialized self. And so what you're doing is you're peeling away everything about like you that society has put onto you. And so I feel like, I don't know exactly if I could say what the main tenets are, but what I feel is that as the clown, you're reflecting people's humanity back at them, but like in a funhouse mirror kind of way. Yeah.
So the type of clowning that you're learning then, does it require an audience at that point?
Oh yeah, it's like interactive. The way I kind of describe it is like, improv, it's like made up and it's scenes between 2 people. Like as a performer, it's between you and another performer, and there's this 4th wall. And your scene partner is like another improviser who is just as trained as you are in what you're doing. But for when you're clowning, like your partner is the audience and they are not trained in any way. And you have to meet them where they're at, and either plan for how they're going to respond to you or let the surprise happen with how they respond to you. So another way I like to describe it is like stand-up is a series of jokes and like clowning is a series of games.
That's a good way. That makes sense. Have you, so how deep into it are you now? Like, at some point, do you decide to develop your own character, or is it more just of a broad set of skills?
So that is how most like traditional clowns, like red nose, like party clowns, like their training involves like finding your clown and finding like that kind of character and that personality for yourself. That kind of clowning is like not really what I do.
Yeah, you're saying this is more the plainclothes clowning.
Yeah, plainclothes and like theatrical. It's like
so it's looser then.
Yeah, so I feel like I take that kind of clown approach to my characters, like Spider Person or like this old man character that I've been doing. And then also like to my improv. I think clowning as a baseline can be applied to any art form. And honestly, like what you like about a lot of things, like things that musicians do at live shows, or like things that stand-ups do that don't fall into like a category of type of joke, it's probably like clowning. Like,
yeah, okay. It sounds like you're getting into a deeper level of improv without calling it improv, essentially.
Kind of,
where you're going like, hey, we're getting into even more freedom, where we can be more strange, more weird,
yeah.
more
But the thing is, like, clowning is very like, it's a very old art form. Like,
I mean, it goes back to like a jester, probably, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And so, I don't know. It is just like this old art form that like we've been doing for a long time. It's just like kind of getting back to that and not putting the label of like, oh, it's improvised theater. But then there's all this other caveats to like, oh, actually, that's another thing about clown is like, it is so hard to define what it actually is.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Have you heard of the, I don't know what we're saying now, Native American indigenous tribes and the sacred clown?
Okay.
Have you heard about this?
I have not.
You might really like this. I'll find, I don't want to butcher the real name, but let me look it up because it's really fascinating, and it's what you're kind of talking about. It was a figure in various cultures, particularly Native American traditions, with the Lakota, the Heyoka, or the Hopi. But basically what I've kind of read about it in broad strokes, was that there would be someone in the tribe who was labeled as the sacred clown in whatever their native language was. And their point was to make fun of everyone, including the chief. Like nobody was off limits. And they would do things kind of almost polar opposite. So if it was, if you're in Texas in the summer and it's burning up, they'd be walking around with blankets and fur, talking about how freezing cold it is and that type of stuff, total opposite.
That's so funny.
And part of it was to kind of keep people in check. So if somebody was getting too much ego in the tribe, this person might go pick at them
down. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And it was very much kind of like this person was a balancing power in a sense. Again, even back to then, it's like this. It seems like each culture has a form of that.
No, that's absolutely like a clown's job is like to kind of expose you as like, I don't know, the humanity that you have is just like everyone else's. And so the character that I do, Spider Person, is inspired by Buffon clowning, which is like a specific type.
Okay.
And that it originated in France as like once a year, the kind of outcasts of society would be invited in to like mock and make fun of like the nobles and the people who are in society. And it's characterized by like just very outlandish like body proportions, like crazy things, just like a crazy visual to just signify that like you are not of this world or like of society.
Complete outsider.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's kind of my approach to that character is like I come in and I look like that, but I act as if all of you are the freaks.
Right.
So
wow, you've really, really learned a lot about this. Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah, I was really inspired by, and you can go watch this, Nate, a one-man show on Netflix by Natalie Palamides. It's incredible. It's a clowning comedy special. Like it's really incredible.
That's the best. Like, I know the internet and everything's terrible in so many ways, but that is, really, we're in the most incredible time if you just look in the right spots, because whatever your thing is, not only can you find someone excelling at it, but you can find a group that really enjoys it. And all of a sudden you can go, oh yeah, I can go watch this now and learn about clowning. It's something I didn't think we were going to talk about that today, which is great. But it's also one of those skills, right? Like, it's so looked down upon until you're amazing.
Oh yeah,
people,
for sure.
Like nobody appreciates that you're working on it, or you're in the middle, or that you're kind of, it's like ventriloquism, right? Like if you went on a date, maybe not you because you're an artistic person, but if you went on a date with somebody and they're like, so what are some of your hobbies? Like, well, when I get off work, I've got my puppets. I love ventriloquism. You'd be like. Even if they were good,
I'd be like, show me how it works. Like,
you would, yeah. But the average person, right? But then if you're Jeff Dunham, you're a millionaire who sells out an arena somehow.
Right.
And it's like there's no gradual rise. And it feels like it's one of the same, like juggling mimes. You know, it's like you're either the biggest loser that has ever existed for attempting this, and like your family members are embarrassed to talk about it, or it's like, have you seen the one-man show that he's doing? Right? I mean,
yeah, for sure.
I wonder why there's no middle ground. Like, there's not a lot of public love for, you know, amateur mid-range clowning where you're not brand new, but you're also not a household name, right?
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think that is?
Well, actually, that's a good point, because I think that applies to improv a little bit too.
Oh, definitely.
And I think it's funny because like, it doesn't really apply to stand-up in that way, because like it would be weird to go to an open mic or even a show and watch someone bomb and then be like, I don't think I like stand-up comedy, you know?
Yeah.
But then it's like people go to one improv show and they're like, I don't think improv is for me. And it's like, it's never like, oh, I saw this group and, you know, that group is clearly not there yet. And it's like the onus is on the art form, not the performers.
Yeah.
But for stand-up, it's like it's on the performer, not the art form. And so
100%. I'm that way.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I have judged improv so harshly, even though I know it's a phenomenal skill. And I know that a lot of the incredibly talented superstars that I like in movies and all these other things went through aggressive improv backgrounds, you know. But why do you think that is? You know, it's like, I like comedy, I like improv, but if I still go to an amateur one, I'm like, ugh. Like, so, depending, right? Sometimes it's really good. Sometimes it's really good.
I think like I have a good time even at bad improv shows, because I'm just like, it's just like, this could never happen, just like, you know.
Yeah, even the horribleness of it.
Yeah, the horribleness of it is still spontaneous. And it's like, even when it's bad, I know, like, that's funny to me.
See, I am more forgiving, like you said, at stand-up. I can go sit through a 2-hour stand-up open mic just watching to see if somebody's fun. I know, right? And, you know, there is plenty of open mic stand-up comedy that is 10 times worse than beginner improv, right? I mean, but for some reason, I give them more grace, and I don't know why. I don't know why that is. You know, I know it's a fault, but I do it.
Yeah, maybe it might have to do with like, I don't know, maybe the stand-up journey or like stand-up path is so kind of like understood by most people. It's like, oh, they're just starting on their journey, kind of. And then for improvisers, like, there's not really a path, and so it's not really clear what they're working towards or where we're going.
I think originally I thought that I'm just more of an insecure person, and, you know, like stand-up people, because I'm not a stand-up comic, I'm not an improviser, I'm just a fan, right? But stand-up people seem to be more self-loathing, at least outwardly. And, you know, if someone's like, man, great job, they're like, I suck. You know, it's terrible. Right? And I identify with that energy, right? I can do something nice and you can give me a compliment and I'm like, it sucked. It was terrible, you know? Whereas improv is so supportive, so friendly, so nice. Everyone's there. They're bubbly. They're happy. And something about me, I originally thought it was just like, man, fuck y'all. Like, why are you so what are y'all so happy about? But I'm past that now. And I'll still catch myself being really harsh sometimes in my mind, you know, and I'm like, that's just unfair. Like, you know enough about artists now to know this path they're on. You should be more forgiving. I'm saying this myself, of course, but, and I've seen enough good improv at this point to know what it can be, right? But it's one of those art forms. It's just, when it's amazing, people really praise it, but they don't appreciate the journey to get amazing yet, you know, unless they're on the inside like you. But I imagine clowning is just on an incredibly harder level of cultural acceptance.
I've heard it both like the best show you can see is like a clown show, and then also the worst show you can see is a clown show. Like,
well, and just think about TV, movies. You know, like I have a 6-year-old, so we just rewatched Air Bud, and I don't know if you've seen that, but the bad guy is a clown, a horrible party clown, and you know they make him look just the most pathetic looking guy in the world. You know, and then there's like Krusty the Clown from The Simpsons. It's like all these characters have just been, you know, horrible. But then it goes, let's see. A popular clown that people loved in TV was probably Cam from Modern Family.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He was one of the ones bringing it back into the like, oh, no, that's cool. You know?
Yeah. Well, I think one person that a lot of people know that probably don't realize is a clown is Sacha Baron Cohen. Like
I could see
his
that.
characters, like that's what he's doing. It is clowning.
So he could be considered plain clothes clowning.
Or like theatrical clown. Like he is he is like classically trained in like very intensely trained in like clowning.
Okay, that's probably the best example you could have given.
Yeah,
me.
Absolutely.
Because I just remember watching his movies. You know, I was able to see those as they were coming out.
And some people were like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yes.
And it's like it is clowning. Yeah, that's what that is.
When Borat first came out, you know, I don't know if people can feel it the same as when you watched it in the theaters when it first came out, especially living in Texas or Arkansas. I don't know where you were at the time, and people, like half of the people would come out of the theater, you know, who were maybe like more conservative people, and they were testing out a new movie that they thought was going to be a comedy, and they're just coming out like, the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah.
Like you can tell they're deciding if they want to get their money back, right?
Yeah.
And then people like me who were a little more liberal and thought like, oh my God, that was hilarious, and like it showed this side of people that is important to show, but it was all in humor.
Yeah.
But then you're still going like, but what the fuck was that?
Yeah. There are people who are like, I know this is a joke and I know you're doing it to be funny and like can appreciate that. And like, there are people who are okay with going along for the ride. And then there are some people who are like, I don't think I want to get on.
Oh God. Yeah. It was in its time. I don't know how it holds up now. Like if I showed it to like a 20-year-old, what they would think about it. But in the time it was released, it's like, this was so wild and creative. I wish I could remember the scenes. I feel like the rodeo was probably one of the biggest ones. Do you remember that? And
kind of. I did see Bruno 2 when it came out a few years ago.
I forgot about Bruno.
And I thought that was really great.
Yeah, Bruno pushed some boundaries.
I mean, not Bruno 2, Borat 2.
Borat 2, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
but Bruno was another one.
I was thinking I just missed the second one. Bruno was the one where
he was like a fashion guy or a gay guy or something.
Yeah, but wasn't he fighting his lover in like a boxing ring or something, and then they start making out?
Yes. Oh,
Is that the one?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, because I was listening to them talk about how they filmed that, and do you know the background on this?
Kind of. But like, did they get kicked out or sued or something? Like,
no. So they had to put a trap door in the stage. They had to have like a way to I think I could be wrong, but I really think this was it. But they had to have a way to escape, and they had like a special forces person with them, because I believe in order to get the crowd that they needed, they had inmates from the local prison in the crowd.
Whoa.
Yes.
That's crazy.
And it was I can't remember where it was, but it was an area that was definitely like more homophobic, and like they knew like we've got the people where this is going to hit exactly the way we want it to. And they were extremely worried that, you know, like we're not going to be able to get out of here because this is the wrong crowd. And just knowing that he's taking those risks to give me a chuckle.
If there's anything I'll always appreciate, it's commitment to the bit. Like,
God.
Yeah, that's what I love about it.
He's definitely commitment to the bit. It's amazing he hasn't been seriously hurt or killed doing these. I mean,
he's a professional. Like, it's like he knows what he's doing. Like,
yeah,
it's nuts. But
do you ever see yourself pushing? Obviously, probably not to that line, but like getting into really, you know, uncomfortable waters for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, not in that way.
No, not in that way. But I mean, like,
not in that way. But there are times like I kick myself almost after every time I do one of my characters. I am like, I could have gone deeper. Like, I could have gone harder. Like, I had a moment where I could have done like, I don't know, gotten more vulnerable or made someone else be more vulnerable. And I'm like, God, I should go. Like, I kick myself for it. But I think it's, the more I kick myself, the more I know like to do it next time. So.
Well, how long have you been doing everything at this point?
I started improv 8 years ago, 2018 at DCH. And then I kind of got into stand-up towards the end of like 2022 and 23. I started Queer Factor beginning of 2022, and that's kind of how I got into stand-up eventually. It was hosting a show. And then like 2023 took my first clown intensive class. So
okay, but yeah, so 8 years in, yeah, you're in that gray area where you're not new,
right,
and you should be pushing the limits like at will.
Yeah, and also I can't decide what to focus on. I'm doing so much shit.
What I've noticed with people at 8 years in too, that they just, you're still trying to convince yourself that you are talented at doing this and that you can push those limits rather than accepting like, no, I have 8 years of experience. I'm ready to push these limits and I know how to fall on my face if it doesn't work right and it's going to be fine. But you guys in that range, it seems like 8 to 12 years when I talk to people, they're confident, but there's like that last little lingering bit of their old self that pulls them back every now and then when they should just keep going.
Yeah. I mean, I feel that constantly with stand up because I'm only like, 3-4 years in with stand up. And even then I feel like it's on again, off again. But yeah, I'm probably the most insecure about doing stand up.
Well, you made it. What you were saying earlier, it sounds like you did it a little more out of necessity because you were hosting shows.
Yeah. That's kind of how I got into it because like hosting Queer Factor, it's like, well, the start of the show, like you gotta say something, warm a crowd up and, get them on your side and get them laughing as soon as the show starts. And so I ended up writing like opening bits and like sometimes they were what I thought of just like short monologues, which is just doing stand up. And then other times I would come up with other interactive bits or like PowerPoint stuff to present. And I was like, I think I am writing jokes. So then I finally took a stand up class and gave myself permission to do stand up.
Did you, did you enjoy stand up as much as improv when you first started doing it out of necessity? Or was it like, all right, here we go. We got to do this for the show?
I still find trouble enjoying stand up.
I appreciate your honesty.
I've gotten a lot better at it, and I can acknowledge that. And I've just made a lot more like intentional effort over the past like year or so to like enjoy it and enjoy like the process of writing material. And if I don't like telling something, even if it gets a laugh, like I will just move on and not do that again.
Yeah. I mean, the improv muscle has to translate.
It didn't at first. It's just like improv. It gave me so many tools and like what I kind of felt like so many tricks and so much confidence. And then when I got into stand up, I was like, oh, you can't just like improvise a stand up set. It's like all of your improv tricks don't really work when you have to do like, material that you wrote. I cannot improvise like a setup punchline. I feel like crowd work is different, which I still haven't done much of because I'm just like, I don't know if I'm worried that that'll be difficult for me or if I'm like secretly just like, I'll destroy this. So I don't even want to bother.
It's interesting to hear that type of insecurity from someone who's hosting shows, improv, clowning, sketch, because just putting on shows and trying to convince people, the whole, not even your part, the whole thing's going to be entertaining and fun. That's a whole level of insecurity that you have to deal with all the time. So, is it just because you feel like you're on an island in the stand-up and when you do stand-up compared to with improv, you at least have other people there?
Yeah.
With sketch, you've got a barrier with you and your costume.
Yeah. Well, so like improv is easy for me. I feel like 2 years into improv, I like stopped getting nervous. Like I was able to trust myself and also like my scene partners and like my performers. That like after a while I just stopped getting nervous. But with stand up, it's like you have to trust yourself enough to make things happen. And also I have this other problem with stand up that for me is like in relation to improv, like everything is made up. And so I feel like baseline, like 0 for a show, like in order for it to be like good or bad, it's like, if anything good happens, like that's a positive, like that's above baseline. But for stand up, you write with the intention of making people laugh. And it's like, if you perform your jokes as intended and everyone laughs, that for me is 0. That is baseline. And so I don't necessarily like feel good or bad about the show if it goes that way.
Right.
It's like something truly incredible and spontaneous has to happen for it to be like above baseline for me. And that doesn't really happen unless like I come out and the crowd's energy is just amazing, and then it's like I can kind of like add on tags or like then I can improvise a little bit and play with the audience because they're just so down for it. That for me, that's a great show, and that is kind of rare.
That's really interesting. So if you were to write a good set, get good laughs, you would think, well, that's how it was supposed to go.
Yeah, and
so I guess we did our job.
Yeah, and and then if I do my set as wrote it, nailed my set technically, and then it didn't get a good reaction, like that's negative, like that's bad, that feels bad.
So you're setting it up very strangely, because in your world it can only go worse. It's either going how we planned or poorly.
I mean, yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. So
I just think I value like the spontaneity for me as the performer. Like I want to discover the performance as much as the audience does.
Yeah, it sounds like it's probably just a little boring for you. Yeah, that you need a little more uncertainty. Yeah. Well, so have you got to do many of the stand-up shows where the topics are, brought out like in the moment? Have you tried any of those?
Yeah, I did stand-up roulette once, but that was like I was still pretty inexperienced, and I did not do well at that show at that time. I think I do better now. But yeah, some other shows where I like have to write beforehand, like specifically for that show, I enjoy doing that, like for roasts or like other like certain topical shows.
Are you good at roast? I bet you kill at roast.
I think I'm okay, but
I think with your personality, people expect you to come out not being very mean, and so if you do write something mean with your personality, it probably destroys. Because you're probably smiling like that as you're tearing them apart. Yeah. I do not like watching roasts, but I think I would watch you roast someone. I would come to that one.
Yeah. Well, it's like I don't know. I hate watching roasts too, because it's like people don't understand. Like they just think mean is funny, and it's like the point isn't to be mean; it's to like. I don't know, be surprising.
There's a cleverness to it.
Right, exactly.
When you watch the roast, the real ones, with these greats, it's like, there's some people who just come out there and just like, you're this. And it's like, nah. The people who really have, I mean, something even as crude as like, I don't remember who said it, but when Kevin Hart and Shaq were on the dais and someone said, here's Shaq and here's Shaq's dick. It's like that's even that is crude, but it's clever. And it's like, oh my God, it was right there in front of us. I never thought of that's funny.
Yeah. It's also roast jokes are so formulaic that it's like you couldn't follow the formula to get to it. But yeah, I hate doing roasts because like the roasts about me are like never creative and like never funny. It's like, oh, he's gay. He's white. Oh, he doesn't have an ass, which is not true. But and the worst that so I've done a few roasts with this group called DSQO, DSQO, Dallas Social Queer Organization. They put on events, like social events for like the queer community, and they've done a few like variety shows and roasts, and I've done a couple of them. And every time it's not comedians who are on doing this. So it's like can be rough. And every time some people are like, this is Stefan, he runs a shitty show called Queer Factor. And it's like, well, it's like, there's a lot of other people that perform at that show, not just me. So it's kind of like, it's not really a joke. You're just saying my show's shitty.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be like me doing a roast coming out and just like, hey, fuck you. Yeah. It's like, well, that wasn't a thing.
And for the last one, I was like, everyone was like, does anyone have any boundaries or like off limits thing? And I was like, you can make fun of my show, but you better say something like Stefan runs a halfway house for twinks called Queer Factor. Like, and it's like, make a joke out of it. Like,
something that in, because it's an art form, right? To be so insulting, but never offensive.
Oh yeah.
Right. And it's like, that's really what people want. It's like, you still got to feel that shred of love and respect while you're tearing someone apart. I think roasts are great when they're done well.
Yeah.
I can't watch the amateur ones for the reasons you just laid out. And it just feels so forced maybe sometimes.
I
don't know how, it's hard to describe. But I like that they're out there for people who enjoy them. Like I definitely think you keep the shows because I think the comics that do it, you're exercising your comedic brain still if you're trying at least. But yeah, I don't want to go to one at all. And I would be so terrified to ever be a part of one because I know I couldn't take it. Did you ever see the Key and Peele skit where he's a stand-up on stage and he's roasting people in the audience? And I get them confused. So the tall one's on stage. Jordan's the other one. Yeah. Anyway, he's in the crowd, but he's in makeup as a burn victim.
Oh,
have you seen that?
No.
He's got the voice box thing where he's like, talk about me, right? So they're going deep already.
Yeah.
And he's been hitting everybody in the crowd, and he sees them, and he passes over, and the guy's like, no, it's okay. You can do me. You can do me. And he puts it off, and he finally does them. And then the guy immediately just starts crying and weeping. He's like, you said you could take it. He's like, I thought I could. And that would be me. If I ever took part in it, I would be like, I can handle this. I like comedy. And then I'd be driving home just be like, they picked out everything I was insecure about on my entire body. Like,
mine is always just like, come on, like, do better. Like you can come up with something better than that. But have you heard of Robin Tran?
I don't think so. No.
She's a trans comedian who like specializes in like roasts, and there's a roast battle between her and I think like a guy like in a wheelchair, and it is so funny watching them go back and forth. And she's so good. But
that's an art that is interesting because everyone thinks they can be good at it. Right? Everyone thinks like I could roast someone. That's simple, but it's just not. The writing is phenomenal. It took me forever to realize on the televised roast that they have a team of writers.
There's so many writers.
And then knowing that, it's like, wow, so you can have all these incredible jokes written for you, but you still have to nail this delivery or it's just not going to hit.
Yeah.
I don't know which person they were roasting, but did you ever see the one where Ann Coulter was a guest?
Yes. Was that Alec Baldwin?
Maybe. I can't remember. Yeah. But she, they came out later, the writers were like, we wrote her some stuff. And she had her own plan.
That. Yeah.
And that was, if you want a crash course on, what ignoring professional comic writers will get you, that was it. And it's like because she's Ann Coulter, so she's already polarizing.
Right.
But we've seen a lot of people who are, polarizing on those shows do well.
Yeah.
Because in the moment, people think, well, we're here for laughs. So we can get on
and
their
as
side.
they described it, like their plan was for her to kill. Like she just had to show up and like play the game that they set up for her.
Well, and the game too is like, before you start tearing into everybody, you got to be able to make fun of yourself a little bit.
Sure, yeah.
You got to be able to laugh at the jokes. So meanwhile, while they're making fun of her, she's like, I don't get it. It's like, Ann.
No.
Oh, Ann, it's going poorly. You can bring this back. And then I think at one point she promoted her book. I think she like brought a book out and was like, and my book's for sale.
That's kind of funny.
But I might have to go back and rewatch that. I forgot about that until talking to you just now. But I don't know. What is, out of everything you're doing, what's your favorite right now? What are you loving the most?
Well, it's peak festival season. It's in like 2 weeks from tomorrow, so that's kind of all I'm thinking about. I'm extremely excited for it. I am performing in it this year. One of my troops, Romeo and Maude, is performing, so I'm excited for that. And it's going to be 3 days of just good vibes and good shows.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. What was the first character you developed? For sketch or anything you were doing?
Well, so
that you really thought about, maybe made a costume or something.
Yeah, so after I finished like the improv courses at DCH, I immediately took the sketch level 1 class, which at that time was just character monologues like for level 1, and then like level 2 you get into like multiple person sketches. And the first character I wrote for that class was a guy or like an 18-year-old guy who was convinced that the lead singer of Nirvana was his dad and was trying to get into the concert.
Where do you remember where that came from?
I don't remember at all. We did a bunch of different like writing exercises in the class, and I was like, wait, not Nirvana, it was Incubus.
Okay.
Yeah. It was the lead singer, Brandon Boyd, the lead singer of Incubus. I think it came from like two of my best friends. Their favorite band is Incubus, and I guess I was writing something someday that had something to do with that, and I was like, I don't know.
It just comes to you. That's the beauty of that type of comedy in terms of when you're creating like that is just the randomness that you can come up with. I think with the sketch courses, do they do the showcases like they do for improv? I could go watch entry level sketch.
I don't know if they do that for DCC now, but they did at DCH. Yeah, they did for DCH. Each sketch class had a showcase.
See, I think I would like that. I think that's the right amount of preparation and weird, unexpected. We don't know what's going to happen. I think that might be the best thing for me to experience and still really love it, because I do love, like, on paper, the ability for just something wild and different in improv should really attract me, but I think maybe it's just too loose at times.
Yeah.
Whereas at least with sketch, it can still be really loose.
Yeah.
But you definitely came in with a plan.
Yeah.
Have I seen what?
Have you seen a lot of like live sketch shows?
No, I mean, just the only sketch stuff I've seen has been, well prepared sketch that's televised, or you know what I mean,
SNL,
something that
Mad TV.
has been really honed. Yeah. But I think I would really like that, because I'd really enjoy people who are creative and can make characters. I love that, because just the premise of the character alone can be so funny that I'm locked in and I want to see where it goes. So I think I would like that a lot. Is there a big sketch community?
It's growing. Like DCC's sketch program and like sketch club has been really growing over the past few years. I haven't like been involved in that side at DCC a whole lot. I am doing Dallas Sketch Fest in May, so they're doing like a sketch festival.
Where's that at?
At DCC.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole weekend. Me and Madeline Slavens have a 2-person like sketch thing that we do, and so we're doing that in the festival.
Yeah, and I feel like sketch can get wild.
Oh yeah,
right. And that's what to me, that's a great place to push boundaries of comedy. You know what you should attempt? I think Rory Scovel does this. Are you familiar with him?
Yes.
I think, doesn't he do a lot where he'll just go on
He'll
stage,
improvise an hour.
plan?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what you need. Maybe that's what you need to bridge that improv comedy gap.
Yeah, that sounds terrifying to me.
Yeah, but just think about,
because it's like I've done open mics where I'm like, I haven't like written the joke out exactly, but I'm like, oh, I have an idea, and then I get up and I say the idea, and then I'm like, I don't know where else. I don't know what else. Like I cannot. Like I said, I can't improvise like set up punchline. Like
sure.
I don't know.
But maybe you don't need to do set up punchline. Maybe that's the comedy class that you took. Did you take a stand up class?
I did. Yeah.
Okay, which I think that has its place. But I don't think you're ever gonna fit into standard stand up. Like, why would you want to? It doesn't seem seem like you, right? Because when I'm thinking of Rory doing his stuff, he doesn't, he's not doing traditional setup punchline when he is doing that, right? He has a stand-up material, but God, he's got one special. It took me like 2 years to come back around on it. When I first saw it, I was like, I don't think I like this guy. And then like 2 years later, I was like, I think I finally get this guy. And it was the one where for literally like a minute, he just says the word anal. You know what I'm talking about? Have you seen that?
No, but I've seen bits like that.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of bits like that. I went to... So he he does a lot of stuff in LA with Chad Damiani, who was one of my clown teachers.
Okay.
But like a kind of aside from that, when I was in LA, I went to this thing called Play Space, which is like a clown jam. They do different things. Sometimes you get up and do a bit you've prepared, or sometimes they'll have a group exercise or whatever. And this one girl went up there and she just like kept saying for like 2 minutes, suck my dick, like, but like, and then she like gets sadder and just like, suck my dick, like, that's all she said the whole time, and it was so funny. Like, yeah, it was incredible.
Yeah, I can get behind that. Something about it, because it's really coming down to performance, like, your voice, your tone, your face, everything's selling it, and just anybody I don't know. I think I like risk takers where what she's doing is like, this could go. I mean, if that's your move and it's not working, this is going to be it's going to feel forever,
Yeah.
But that's okay. Okay. I think I might have to get more into sketch.
For sure.
Maybe go check out the Sketch Fest. Where do you think it's going to go from here, since you're dipping into all these different things?
I don't know. I'm like, pick something. Like,
do you have to pick something?
That's another thing, is like, do I have to, I don't know. I'm just having fun doing whatever comes my way. So, are
you producing the shows because you love producing the shows, or are you doing it because I want to see more of XYZ?
Okay, there's like, I mean, a little bit of both. It's like, that is kind of how I started doing stuff. It's like I wanted to see certain things in the scene, and it's like, why isn't anyone? If you've ever heard someone be like, why isn't anyone doing X or whatever? It's like, well, you can do it, you know?
Right.
And so, yeah, when DCC first opened, I asked them, I was like, oh, are you going to have like a queer show, you know, for LGBTQ plus performers or whatever? And they were like, that's a great idea. Why don't you? We
love that for you.
We love, yeah. And so, I mean, I was inspired to start that because at DCH there was a queer comedy show called Let's Get Busy Tonight, LGBT for short.
Nice.
And it was a great show that I enjoyed. And also, like, for me as a performer or like as a student, it gave me like something to look forward to, like a path to like, oh, like I can do, you know, I can be in this show or be in this group. There's like a place for me beyond just like going to classes and stuff. And so I wanted to, you know, make sure there was that at the club that I was, you know, going to be at a lot. And so they were like, that's a great idea. Why don't you go for it? And so, yeah, I just, you know, started asking people like, would you do this, and assembled a show, and now we're here.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about that show in particular a lot, Queer Factor, because it might be like 6 months ago now, I was considering writing this article, and I messaged you about it.
Oh, yeah.
And the article was going to be about any kind of show where there's a theme about a certain type of people.
Right, yeah,
so like,
certain demographic.
Yeah, so for instance, DCC has, you know, there's Queer Factor, there's the Brownout show, there's, what's the one Liz Mooney's doing?
Girls Night Out or something. Yeah, they're like veteran shows.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I had this opinion, not even an opinion, just this thing I couldn't really get around, where it felt like, you know, like, let's say an all-girls show, for instance. Because I know there's people where they're like, we want to see more women on comedy flyers. We want to see more representation in these shows. And then when you saw the all-female show, in my mind, it was seeing like, okay, these were the ones we put on this show because they weren't good enough to get on these other shows or something, right? That would be like a stigma that could be associated with that.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, I was thinking like, I feel like these shows are doing more harm than good, because it's painting you as this person like, we made this show for you because you couldn't get on these other ones, whether you could or couldn't.
Right.
I was, you know, in my mind, I was thinking, is that what people think when they see this, or is that just me? You know, so I was trying to find this way to write this article where it was kind of more of a question, and it just kept coming out insulting. So I didn't want to write. I didn't want to write it.
Yeah,
but I remember your explanation being really the clearest one I got, because I'd reached out to some show producers of like, I think the question was like, tell me why you feel like this even needed to existed, which again, that's a weird thing to type because you're reading that however you read it.
Yeah.
Like, why does this need to exist? And yours was very much like, you know, a lot of the people in this space are writing material that this crowd is really going to identify with. And so if they're trying that at these more traditional shows, that might really sour their feel for comedy or whatever you're doing, because that, you know, it'd be like, I'll give you a great example. At your show, Queer Factor, right? You know, I don't think I'm ever going to be super excited about watching like aggressive drag queen dancing. You know what I mean? Because it's just like there's a style to it that's very intense movements, and it's lip syncing. And it's, you know, I can look at that and appreciate talent, and that's an art form, but I'm never going to say, you know, I really want to go watch this weekend, like that particular art form, right?
For sure.
And that's when it was kind of clicking. It's like, yeah, that's right. You know, if this person went to go perform at just a regular variety show of some type, you know, it could be real 50-50 in the crowd or worse. And now you're thinking like, I got nowhere to do my art ever. So I did appreciate your explanation. I don't know if you want to elaborate on that at all.
Yeah. I don't remember what all I wrote, but I do remember writing that. And yeah, it's like, you don't always get a chance to perform in front of a room that is like your people. And so especially if you're going to like open mics at the local clubs that is like overwhelmingly like, you know, straight dudes talking, you know, badly about women and, you know, kind of other bullshit. It's like, and so it's nice to get like feedback and be in front of your audience, people who are like you. And then also it's the other thing of like, if you go to these other places where it's not your audience, like it's kind of shaping your comedy in a way that isn't like necessarily reflective of who you are, or your comedy is going to end up being like a parody of like who you like your identity. And so, yeah, I think it's important from that sense. I literally never would have crossed my mind that people would do like Queer Factor or Girls Night Out or something because they couldn't get on another show.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think that was a correct thought, but you're just thinking like, man, I don't.
Yeah.
My fear was that you have these funny people on these shows, and that it would look, people would incorrectly look down and be like, oh, they had to do this because And so I was glad you kind of laid it out that way. I never dialed that article in, so I was like, just screw it. It's not. And I think the more I looked into it, the more I was like, I think this is mostly me thinking this.
Yeah, well, because it's like there are so many shows all the time. It's like, they can do my show and then also go like do other shows at other clubs and like, get booked and be working comedians. And
well, and where I did see your explanation the best too on Queer Factor specifically was what's the improv troupe? Butt Gay?
Oh, Butt Gay.
Yeah. Where you're doing a scene, Butt Gay, right?
Yeah.
And, I've gotten to the point with most comedy now, I'm watching a lot of the crowd instead of the show because I just want to see what people are getting into. And it was like, okay, here is a skit that's happening where I really only get half of the references because there's lingo that's very specific to the gay community that's going over my head. But I'm looking around like, oh, it must have killed because they loved that. And I'm like, there it is. This was Stefan's explanation right here. Whereas if this was done at Insert Club on whatever Thursday night in front of not this crowd, that's filled with at least 70% of people like me.
If Butt Gay opened for Matt Rife, I don't think we'd have the same.
And so that's when I realized like, okay, I'm getting it now. I'm putting it all together. But it is a great show, man. You put on a good show.
Thank you. It's a lot of fun.
Do you get a lot of Do you get a lot of people starting on your show first time because of the reasons we just talked about?
I tried to, I used to run an open mic at Alexander's, which is a gay bar. And so that was a good way for me to see who's, I don't know, kind of getting started in the scene, especially for local queer performers. A lot of my new performers lately have been DCC students. And so it's like they get their class showcase and then their first real show outside of the class is my show.
Gotcha.
And so that's been great just because there's been so many queer identifying students going through the program. And they're pretty good because the program's good. So.
Yeah, they're pumping them out over there too. Do you think ever about, okay, you've created this space where you can make that. Wouldn't the natural next challenge be, okay, how can I take that same material and get it into these spaces we just talked about where it wouldn't work, but make it work? Do you think of that challenge yet?
I don't know.
Because if you can, think of the possibilities of your audience.
Right.
If you can do it without sacrificing the core of what you're putting in there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Have you tried that exercise yet? Or is anybody that you've worked with on these, more queer shows, have you talked to them about how do we stretch our legs to go, we're not really going to change the material, but we're going to figure out how to present it where it still hits at, a non-queer show in Fort Worth?
Yeah. Not exactly. I haven't done Queer Factor anywhere else or moved it around, and I am soon exploring just other parts of DFW for Pride shows specifically, just to see where would be interested in that.
Yeah.
But as far as I don't know, not traditionally gay audiences.
Yeah. Not even maybe for the whole show. Just what about your performance?
Yeah. Oh no, for me, I definitely have, and I think other queer performers can identify with this as well. As you have a version for when you're in church country,
you're code switching.
I have a little bit different version when I go to McKinney or when I do my set somewhere else. It's just kind of knowing how to play with what audience you have in front of you. Your material can't be static because it's you got to understand certain things might not work in certain other places.
Do you feel like you're Like, do you feel like, God, I got to tone it down, or are you still having fun?
No,
with it?
it's more like I have to not tone it down, but I have to get them on board with my tone. Like, and so whether
how do you do that?
I don't know whether that's like telling my church jokes first, just to get them on board that way, being like, I'm one of you guys because I grew up religious. I don't know.
You just come out with a praise be and just
just like starting up top with something that they'll relate to, or what I lately just my opener is just like the classic like what I look like, because I feel like that's pretty broad and people can get on board with it.
Yeah, it was the most recent experience I had with that was we were talking about Nick Hawk earlier, and when he performed a set at Cowabunga in Plano. Right. And that's kind of a little middle ground where you don't know what audience is going to be in that crowd with what beliefs, what social beliefs, political beliefs. And it was interesting to watch him because he came out full force. There was no tiptoeing in it. Right. And I don't know if you've seen him recently. You said you've seen his act since 4 years ago. Right.
Yeah.
And again, I'm watching the audience. Right. Because this is my first time watching Nick, and he's going full speed.
Right.
And there was a interesting kind of reaction from parts of the room where you can tell it's not they're not offended,
right?
But they're like so caught off guard. Like you ever seen that country person where something wild happens and they're like, God,
right? The side look, the look over to
man,
like I guess we're doing this now. Like
yes, and so that was kind of the initial, and then I think once they realized he's not slowing down, we're powering through this.
And you get on or you get off.
And
like
all of a sudden, though, they were all. I mean, I didn't see everybody, but it felt like most of the room, if not all of the room. Now all of a sudden they're on board, where they're like, I guess we're hearing some wild shit, you know. And even if they were more, what's a friendly way to put it, just a little more uptight.
Well, yeah,
you know what I'm saying. If they're a little more uptight, by the end of it, it felt like several of them were like, well, I mean, that gay fellow was pretty funny, I guess. Like. Like it felt like they at least got to that part. Like, well, this one's funny, which is probably not what a lot of people want to hear in the community, but it's at least like it's a little step towards, that person got me for that moment at least. And so that was kind of nice to see. And so, not that Plano, Texas is some regressive place. It's actually a pretty diverse place, but it's still Texas. So you just never really know who's sitting in that bar,
Yeah, for sure.
But
what's weird is kind of when the opposite happens, when like it is a queer audience and they are just like, for whatever reason, like not giving it to you. And it's like, what's wrong?
Yeah. But at that point, do you think it's because they get you too much?
Maybe.
Now they know, like, we get it. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I just had the weirdest experience at the last Queer Factor show. And it was like from the jump, the tech is doing the intro speech, and it's like, are y'all ready to have a good time tonight? And it's like, there's like 20, 30 people there, and like 2 people are like, whoa. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, come on, you can do better than that. And it's like, not better.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna have to work tonight. Like,
I think we got to find something.
My own people.
I think we got to find something to replace the "Are you ready to have it?" I don't know what it is, but I laugh with my wife every time.
I hate it.
When we're at the comedy show.
I'm like, we don't. No, they're not going to do better. They'll do better when the show starts.
And we all know you're going to ask me to do it again. Oh, come on! It's Friday night. You can. And I'm just like, yeah. It feels like when they're forcing you to sing "Happy Birthday" at the restaurant.
Yeah,
now.
it's like no one wants to be like chided or like shamed into doing something, especially when we're at a fun thing. I don't know.
And like I play along. Like I've pulled back the curtain a little with this podcast and everything. So I play along because if I'm with a crowd, I want the show to be good.
Yes, I want everyone to have a good time.
But I'm always elbowing my wife like, come on.
I'm like, and especially when it is good the first time. I'm like, you didn't need to do it.
Yeah.
You didn't have to.
Yeah, you rarely hear someone go, all right, let's get it going. Thanks, guys. Like,
I'm just like, please move on.
Yeah, I've been...
okay, my next bit, I'm going to start the show, and that's going to be my whole, 10 minutes is just be like, come on. You can do better than that.
I would love to see it. When you're doing the one-off sketches like that, are you filming yourself? Are you saving these for your own personal self to decide like, ooh, that one was actually gold, or do you like just letting it go in the wind?
I was a very like let it go in the wind person for a long time, and then there were some bits that I was like, I want to bring this back, and I wish I had a video of it, like because it did go so well, it was so special in that moment, and I would love to relive that moment and also like. See if what didn't work and could I do it better.
Yeah. And I would think that'd be the beauty about filming is one, you get to relive it and you get to be like, man, that was so much fun. But also if you did hit on something that was just extra special and then you can develop it into maybe that's your one-man show. I think you got to do it. And I don't know, maybe it's just my algorithm, but are a lot of people filming their one-off sketch things and putting them up? Like, is that something that group is doing? Because maybe that's a reason it's not so much in the limelight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with improv and sketch specifically, like for so long, it's been so hard to film, just because like now you can do it on your phone and it's okay. And now DCC like films everything, and it's like pretty good quality. But like it's just like historically has been just a huge issue from like the camera's always at the back of the room.
Yeah,
the lighting isn't great. And then the sound, like you're not amplified when you do sketch or improv. And so the sound is horrible. Like, there's always sound issues. And so that's just kind of been the great like barrier and the great hurdle to getting like sketch and improv on video and online in good clips.
What's the average size improv troupe right now?
I'd say like 4 to 8 is normal.
So that's tough to mic because it's not like you can throw like a lav mic on everybody,
right? And even shows that I've done like that, it's like, well, if one of them fucks up, like then it's like it screws that person over, and so and that's also like an expensive setup to have those.
I've had the good luck where some of these comics are trusting me to film stand-up specials for them, and I really enjoy doing that. But as much as improv is not my favorite, I still feel like it's a crazy underserved group. Not even here just locally, but just you don't see a lot of improv recordings that are like specials. I think the only one I've ever seen was Middleditch and
Schwartz.
Right. And then what was weird was some of the people I know who do improv, they were like schooling me. They're like, that's not good improv. And I was like, well, I don't know.
It's on fucking Netflix.
Well, it's like I laughed, and they were explaining like, well,
I hate.
You know what I'm talking about, the
snobs. Yeah,
and they were talking about how like, well, they probably performed for this long and cut out bad stuff, and it's like, okay, great. So they showed me the gold of that improv thing. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And like, what do you expect on Netflix? But I do wonder if there's a way here, especially locally, because it seems like we have a pretty decent improv scene to produce kind of a mid-level showcase like that, where the idea is we're coming in to record this. Maybe we do 2 shows that night, but you get your A team of performers that you know are most likely to have a good scenario going, a good night, and then film it in the way you would do a real comedy special. And if you started releasing those, because one of the beauties is you're not burning material, right?
Oh, yeah,
it's all gone. So you can do this as many times as you want. And I do wonder if there was a, biannual improv special release of local people, if that would even translate to people wanting to watch that or not, where you cut out the dead parts, you just show the best things that they came up with. And then would that even support the improv community at all, or would everyone just go, no, we don't really want to do that? we like not recording things. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that though?
Yeah, I mean, I like that idea. It is just like, it's a monumental task to accomplish. I mean, like from like filming a special. Yeah,
you can figure it out. We can figure that out. It's just microphones and cameras. We can do that.
I guess the other thing is like, I feel like for stand-up performers, there is kind of like this path of like you do shows to get more material, then you work up your way to a headliner, and then eventually like you film a special, like and that's kind of like a stamp along the path of like a professional stand-up comedian. But like for improvisers, there's not really like that much of a path. It's like the goal of doing improv a lot of the times is just to do improv.
I know.
And so it's like the thing we work towards the most is like the show that we're doing tonight. Like, and so it kind of does live and die by its own performance a lot of the time. And so I'm not saying that ambition isn't there necessarily. It's just like, in order to surmount like the huge obstacle of like getting something like that filmed, it's just like there's kind of that element to it too.
The reason I think it would be fun to film it and release it is because you make a troupe, right? You make an improv troupe, and it's got a fun name, and those are people that you could, I mean, it's like forming a band, right? Yeah. You know, these are people that you could connect with, these personalities. This troupe could be an improv troupe for 10, 15, 20 years, right? Why can't that troupe tour and do improv around the country, and people be like, oh my gosh, Butt K is coming through. I got to go check it out. Yeah, no, I saw their stuff online. Yeah. They're going to be, you know, like, what if the Addison Improv actually did improv? Right.
For sure.
You know, but I mean, literally, you had an actual tour and you're selling tickets to come watch improv because I think that's one of the biggest problems with selling the public on improv is you just don't know if this show's going to be good or that show's going to be good.
It's not as easily accessible. And,
and I think a lot of people are willing to go on that ride, but they're just afraid that they're going to watch the worst version. So then all of a sudden, if you can go, no, they put a thing out. They're super funny. I mean, the best example is probably Drew Carey. Whose line is it
anyway? Yeah. People know what they're getting when they go
and they
to
tour,
that.
right?
Yeah.
So if they come to town to do a live show, you're thinking, well, chances are this is going to be pretty incredible.
Right.
And so you're really selling tickets.
Yeah.
And knowing how deep the DFW improv community is, that seems like something that's being underserved in that sense, to where if you can have a headlining comic in Dallas that's not a household name, but they can still move tickets on a Saturday. It feels like there's probably a couple improv troupes in the area where if more people just knew about them, they could probably sell out like a 300-seat venue, right? They're funny enough, at least, to entertain.
Oh yeah,
right. Mm-hmm. I mean, do you think of any like top groups, so to speak, that where you're like, anytime I watch them, they're great?
I mean, there's a bunch, but I mean, like 4-Day Weekend, they do their show every weekend and sell out, and it's like, you know.
What is their show? Because I've never watched it.
Oh, okay.
I live down the street from it, and I've wanted to go several times, but theirs is more of a.
It is a short form improv show, and so it's more like games, kind of like Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Okay.
And so
from what I've read online, it feels more structured.
Oh yeah, it's definitely like it's more structured. They're playing like very specific games. They're interacting with the audience a lot. And that like kind of style of improv is definitely like more accessible and more popular with audiences. And then the other end of that, like what most improv troupes do is long form, that's where you see like an improvised play or improvised movie or stuff like that, which is kind of, you know, it's like they have to pay attention for the whole show kind of, and it's not as interactive. And so there's kind of that little like barrier as well of just like being on board with like what's happening. But I mean, I've seen a lot of success from groups like outside of Dallas, like Improvised Shakespeare or have you ever heard of Baby Wants Candy?
No.
They're a musical improv troupe and they tour. Like they're I don't know, they're just like at that level that they can do that.
How are they getting popular though?
I mean, it's like only improv people know about them is kind of the thing.
That was going to be my argument about 4-Day Weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Is, you know, you're like, well, 4-Day Weekend does that. But I feel like if I went down Greenville Avenue on all the side streets to all the houses and knocked on the doors and was like, do you know about 4-Day Weekend? We'd probably have an alarming amount that would be like, no. And that's right in their neighborhood. So there's still just this there's
like
poor marketing, essentially, which is, I'm sure an improv person hearing marketing is probably like, ugh. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But really, it's like if you're doing an art form that's fun, funny, and it makes people happy, you would only be leveling up by having more people watch it, right?
Yeah.
Everyone would benefit by being able to watch a funny thing.
The thing about improv classes, they teach you how to do improv, not how to do marketing.
Sure.
It's like, I don't know. I feel like it's someone else's responsibility.
But isn't it interesting?
Someone needs to.
You'll go to all this effort to form a group, funny name, put on these shows, come to my show, but the rest of it, it's like, no, that's too much.
I mean,
it's very interesting because the microphone thing, even while we're just talking, you just need those microphones that hang from the ceiling, like you would do for
condenser mics,
for like classical music or for choirs. Just mic up the stage. That way, you still get the stomps and all that. You don't need those close mics. We could do this. I don't know the people at DCC well, but if you get me a meeting, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Well, I think what Primetime is doing at DCC, like Dane and Katie with Comedia, like they like perform with Primetime and they run their social media and like do everything, like all their marketing and everything. And so I think kind of what you're talking about is probably something they'll do eventually, as far as like, I don't know if they have a special planned, but
yeah, I don't know. I haven't decided if I want to attempt to reach out to improv people to even try that, because I'm so foreign to that world. Like I would just feel like such an outsider trying to tell you what you should do, and so I'm trying to decide if that's. And also with the stand-up specials, it's like, I'm only releasing the second one here in April. So I still have a lot of proof of concept in order to say like, oh, trust me,
Yeah, for sure.
But I do feel like that's such an underserved area that it would be really fun to figure that out.
Yeah. And another thing of like improv isn't like an art form that most people know about. Like, does your grandma know what improv is?
No, but
exactly. Like,
but really think about stand up right now.
Yeah,
more people know about stand up now than ever. It's in this massive boom. In the 90s, it's like a lot of people probably didn't know about stand up. That was you saw.
Or they didn't go to like live shows. They might see it on TV, but
you saw Seinfeld, you saw the Blue Collar Comedy Tour or the Kings of Comedy Tour or whatever. These big high end level of things. But now the amount of people who will just go to a weekend comedy show and watch a touring headliner, but not someone who's famous.
Right.
I mean, clubs are selling out a lot. DCC is a great example because they're bringing in these headliners that are not household names, but they are successful. And so if you went down the street and asked, do you know this person, that person, that person? No. Yeah. But they're going to be able to move the tickets and sell out the room.
And the people who do know who they are like very excited to see them. And very motivated. Yeah.
And so comedy built this whole, there's tiers of comedy fans now.
Yeah.
I think improv could have that.
Oh, yeah.
Improv could definitely have,
well, I'm
the super deep hardcore fan. I'm I've heard of about, 40 troops that I know of nationally,
Yeah.
Just the same way you are with music, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that will happen, especially with Dropout TV, like becoming so popular. Like, are you familiar with Dropout? Oh, it's a whole streaming service.
For improv?
Pretty much. Yeah. They're.
Why didn't you lead with that? So
I guess
I'm over here going like, someone should film it. And you're they have a whole service.
No, I mean, it's just like, it's becoming very popular.
Thanks.
There's a show that's really popular called Game Changer. And it's basically the contestants, they're all very like talented and very funny improvisers. And they show up and they have to play a game show, but like they don't explain them what the rules are. And so they have to like figure it out. Or some episodes they'll give them the rules, but it's just like very like, I don't know, insane game breaking. There's one episode where like they brought them in and they gave them a packet and then they said, you have a year to do everything in this packet. And then a year later they filmed the episode and they had to do just crazy stuff, like come in with the best outfit, get a picture in the most remote location.
Wow.
And have the best like voicemail message, and like the links people like these performers went to were insane. But that's Game Changer. They have an actual improv show called Make Some Noise, which is more like prompts in games, kind of like Whose Line Is It Anyway? And then another big show is D20, which is like a Dungeons and Dragons show. And then they also produce comedy specials. They are like more traditional. There's some more traditional stand-up stand-up ones on there, but then also some like more experimental, like one-person show kind of specials on there as well. But it's getting very popular. In the last like level 1 improv class that I taught, I would say like 8 out of 10 of them were there because like they're Dropout fans.
Oh,
and
okay.
So yeah,
so that's doing a lot then.
Oh yeah, for
that's
sure.
Awesome.
For like people who like Dropout are like, I want to do improv because of this.
Well, okay, yeah, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, thanks for making me look like a fool.
No, it's okay. I like forgot about it too. I was like, what? There's got to be something else. But yeah, I feel like it's all my feed is like clips from Dropout. It knows that I watch.
It knows
that,
what
so
you want.
I'm just like it. Like it throws me off guard when anyone else that's not their social media feed. But then also I was going to bring up, have you heard of Comedy Book by Jesse David Fox?
No.
Have you heard of the Good One podcast?
Yes.
Okay. So he hosts that podcast.
Oh, okay.
And he wrote a book called Comedy Book, and it's about kind of like the history of comedy and how it's shaped culture. And he goes into like, it's an incredible book if you like comedy.
Yeah.
But and it's very comprehensive. So I definitely recommend.
What was your big takeaway from the book?
Oh, there's so much.
What sticks with you though? Because that's the sign of a really good book is you're just thinking about this thing.
I thought about it. I think about it a lot. There's in stand-up, there's kind of there's like a traditional style of stand-up that is like set up punchlines, storytelling with, those kinds of things. And then there's this emerging kind of stand-up that's come from the last 10 years that is kind of like making fun of the fact that you're doing stand-up, which is kind of like Kate Berlant, John Early style, maybe even like I feel like Chelsea Peretti was kind of doing that even earlier. But Meg Stalter, do you watch Hacks?
Yes.
So she's kind of doing this, like she's making fun of the fact that she's a famous person and and so I think it's really interesting that this style of comedy is emerging, and it's one that I personally think I vibe with more. And so, yeah, there's also a bunch of great stuff about the history of stand-up comedy. And I've always kind of thought of stand-up as a subversion of like the lecture or the sermon.
Yeah.
And in the book, he talks about how stand-up originated or like became popular was through like the Lyceum movement, which before like university and colleges were like the popular and like the way like we got education was there would just be like touring lecturers. And then around that time kind of popped up the subversion of that, which was like, acts who were like performing in these same spaces, but like doing stupid shit.
Right.
Doing a lecture, but it's like funny about something funny.
It's interesting to think that this form that we're experiencing now could go away and it should be like, oh yeah, like in the 60s to 2030 or they did it this way until the form changed.
Yeah.
Because especially with stand up in particular, I mean you wonder what the limit is. Like how many times can we hear it this way or that way?
Oh, yeah,
right?
for sure.
I mean, because I'm at the point now where if anybody starts with an airplane joke or airport, airplane, I'm like, oh, here you go. It's rare that you hear one now where you're like, that was so unique. And it's like, we get it. You travel a lot and you can't think of a better joke for some reason.
For sure.
But that and then just, I don't know if it's in the same lane where you were talking about we're in that zone where people are making fun of being a stand-up. But it's the path where everyone goes to, I'm such a loser, right? Like, oh, I don't have a real job or I don't have a relationship or I do Uber or whatever. And
Too down in the dumps.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, like, it's like just, it's not that what you're saying isn't true about yourself. It's just, man, how many versions of that can we hear? And is what you're about to bring to the table really unique, right? Now, if it's your first time at an open mic or something and you're just getting up there, I understand, but I'm talking about people when you're, 4 or 5 years in, you're doing this kind of material. And it pains me because you're looking at them going, I know you're capable of something funnier than that. I don't know if you're just not writing, if you're just not trying, but you seem intelligent enough to write more than that. And they lean on it so hard. And then the other one is like, especially here locally, I think I've heard 10 different, whether it's like some, like Middle Eastern, Indian, like 10 different comics. I've heard them do the I'm 7-Eleven, not 9/11 joke.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, I have heard this one.
I've heard it from so many people. I don't know who the original is.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a famous person or if it's someone here. If I had to guess locally who might have said it first, it'd have to be somebody like Paul Verghese or oh my gosh, what's the other? Raj Sharma.
I hope they both message you and you're like, I never said that.
Yeah, I don't know if they have, but it's like if one of them did, that would at least make sense because they were like age appropriate for 9/11. Like they would have possibly been writing that joke when it happened, right? And to hear people say that now, when it's like, do you know how? Like, yeah, never forget, but like 9/11 was a long time ago. And like, I feel like there has got to be a more clever way to tell people you're from India.
Or like, I don't know, I guess on my end, like hearing a lesbian make a joke about a U-Haul, it's like,
Subaru.
We've heard it. Yeah.
Right. Like, how,
we've heard it.
And it's like, if everyone on the street can make that joke, should you be making that joke on stage? Like, it's not, like, I don't care if you want to. I don't know. That might be the hardest demographic for me to watch because there's like zero relating would be a lesbian comic who has heavy lesbian material. Right? Because it's like, other than liking women, I guess, that's the closest thing. But it's like, even gay guy material, it's like, well, we're dudes. There's still things I can relate and connect with on some level, or I can at least see that we're opposite enough that it's funny. Like I can get the humor from that.
Yeah.
But yeah, something about like hardcore lesbian comedy, where I'm just like, I don't know that there's anything here for me. But I'll still watch it. That's when I start looking around the room going, well, they all really enjoy it. They must be very funny. But yeah, Subaru, what else? What are some of the tropes that you see where like you would go up to someone on like Queer Factor and just go, hey, that one's a little played out. Just so you know, it's a little played out. You might want to find something a little more original.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't really seen that much. Just like the U-Haul example. I feel like I've seen that from multiple people. Yeah, there's one that I'm thinking of, but I just can't remember it. It was probably Subaru related. But yeah.
Are you seeing a surge of trans comics now?
Not really, not locally in this scene. I did, I have had trans comedians before on my show. And I was fortunate enough to have this one guy from Denver. His name's Ren Q Da. I had him do Queer Factor. And then last year, what he did was he started the Here to Pee comedy tour. It was like a protest of like these like bathroom laws and things like that. And he toured and did a show in all 50 states with all trans lineups.
Whoa.
And so
was he getting performers from each state, or did he take his own lineup?
He would have some local performers, and then he would have like features that would travel with him to like certain legs of it.
So then he at least found 40 to 50 trans performers.
Oh yeah,
on the tour. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah,
that would be a perspective that would be interesting to hear. Because again, it's like how much of that voice have you heard? And then I would just want to see like, okay, but what are you going to make funny that I'm not even aware you're about to make funny right now? That would be interesting. Because I don't. This is where I start to sound mean, but I don't intend to, because I like comedy in the sense of if you're funny, you're funny. And I don't care. You can be purple and think you were born on the moon. And if your bit is hilarious, I'm here for it, right? But that's when I get back to that way of thinking of like, I hate when someone's like, we want to do representation on this show to make sure we have it. And it's like, yeah, but are you grabbing the funniest people? It's hard, right?
It was one of the funniest shows I've seen. Like,
no, I'm not
the
saying
Dallas one. It's just like, they are funny. It's just like, I don't know. It's just not the goal of every show is not to have just the funniest people. It's like to have the funniest people in that moment with like who you want to be around. And like for like an all trans comedy show or like a queer comedy show, it's like we all are better because we're performing together. So
yeah,
like it is better. It is funnier because like we all respect each other and we all just perform better together. Like,
yeah. Well, and I don't mean that in the sense of I don't want to see trans comics.
Right.
Yeah,
it's just like, yeah, I mean, I understand where you're coming from.
And I get it. Like they're building the road at this point.
Yeah.
Of like you're showing that here's a segment you haven't heard of funny yet. I'd be down to hear that. I'll be interested to see how long it takes for that to reach, like main stages where there's just a feature and they're telling funny jokes, but it's not like the shocking, like they have the trans feature on this show, that it's just, oh, no, so-and-so's on that show.
Yeah.
Actually, you know who was the early one, but they just weren't out doing that was Eddie Izzard.
Oh.
Are you familiar with Eddie Izzard?
Somewhat, yeah.
Have you watched any of the old? You need to go down a rabbit hole with Eddie Izzard because I don't really know what he is like identifying as. I think he said he's a wannabe lesbian.
Okay, I think I heard this.
Yeah, but when we were watching him a long time ago, we just thought he was a silly guy who wore makeup, and that's what he was saying is like it's just funny to be part of the act because he would do just I don't know like eyeshadow and lipstick or something, and then it came out years later that he was like, no, that's actually who I was and how I felt comfortable, but it was accepted back then because he was so funny. Just so funny. And now I think now he's got, breast implants and it's like, but he doesn't, I don't know if he really cares to look extremely like a woman or if he just wanted to get boobs and like, I don't know. It's pretty interesting.
Every person's gender journey is different.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, and that's what I was saying. There's a whole realm of comedy there because it's unique, even though it's a group, right? But yeah, he's a very interesting one. He also did crazy stuff. Like he ran a marathon a day I think he did like 30 or 40 marathons in a row.
That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. He's a very, very interesting person. And but yeah, I think that's what he said he was. He's like, I'm a wannabe lesbian. He's like, I like women, wanted to look this way, and there we go. It's like, all right. But you should check out his old stand-up. It was way ahead of its time in that sense, where again, the crowds back then, you would think they would have turned against it. And he was wildly popular. And I don't know what that says, but that's it's just interesting. Yeah. But anyway, we came full circle, right?
Yeah, we did.
Listen, I've taken up so much of your time already. I really appreciate it. What you're doing so much. What do you want to push the most right now? The festival?
Oh my God. Yeah, the festival, April 9th through 12th at Arts Mission Oak Cliff. There are shows Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday there's a little brunch.
And is Queer Factor like your baby, though? That's yours?
Yeah.
Remind me the frequency of that.
It is the first Thursday of every month. The May 7th show will not be at GCC, TBD if we'll have a show or it'll be somewhere else. But then our big Pride show is June 4th. And so then after that, it'll be every first Thursday. So
big Pride show for Queer Factor at DCC.
Yep.
What makes that one like extra special?
I mean, it's Pride Month, and that's always our biggest crowd. And so, our biggest lineup, I try to plan like special bits and give away prizes and stuff. And so, I'm excited about that.
I was going to get out of here, but now I forgot I was going to ask you about one picture in particular.
Okay.
Because Stefan, I got to know what was going on here. Let me find it. I saved it just for this moment. My man, tell me about this one. Where is this? What's happening? It's an incredible photo.
Thank you.
What was this moment? What was going on?
So for
everyone that doesn't know what we're looking at, look up. He's wearing a cowboy fringe jacket.
Show the camera. Show the camera.
It's just not going to show up that well.
Oh, okay.
But I'll put a picture on there.
My little cowboy picture. This is beginning of last year, and then we also did this the year before. But like almost every year. We'll do pictures for Queer Factor or mostly for like But Gay, the improv troupe members. And so I rented out a studio and we just like took pictures and stuff. And that's like an outfit that I have. And so, I love that picture.
Stefan, you're a true performer, man. You're like, I've got this jacket. Let's just go for it.
Yeah. And I was like, well, we need like hot pictures to like sell the show. That's what improv needs is more photo shoots.
More hot pictures?
Yeah, more hot pictures.
There you go. You heard it right here. So you'll work on the pictures. I'll figure out how we film things. Maybe we'll make something happen. I don't know. But I appreciate you taking the time. You're such a hustler in the scene and then just on your own craft. Like, I feel like I've only dipped my toe in understanding, what you're doing around here. But
maybe I'll take a break someday.
No, just keep it going, man. Keep it going. And best of luck. I'm excited to see what you do over the next couple of years if you've done this much already. So
well, thank you.
Thank you.
The I'm a Fan of podcast, music, comedy, and more.